Lilith was a female demonic figure in Jewish folklore. Her name and personality are thought to be derived from the class of Mesopotamian demons called lilû, or the female lilītu, and the name is usually translated as night monster. A cult associated with Lilith survived among some Jews as late as the 7th century CE. The evil she threatened, especially against children and women in childbirth, was said to be counteracted by the wearing of an amulet bearing the names of certain angels. In rabbinic literature, Lilith is either depicted as the mother of Adam's demonic offspring following his separation from Eve, or as his first wife. According to some mythologies, her demonic offspring was sired by an archangel named Samael and were not Adam's progeny. Those children are sometimes identified as incubi and succubi. As an individual, Lilith is first known from the alphabet of Ben Sira, but the Liliths, as a category of demons, along with the male lilīs, have existed for several thousand years. The earliest surviving mention of Lilith's name appears in Gilgamesh and the lilū tree, a Sumerian epic poem found on a tablet at Ur and dating from approximately 2000 BCE. The mighty ruler Gilgamesh is the world's first literary hero. He boldly slays monsters and vainly searches for the secret to eternal life. In one episode, Gilgamesh rushes to assist Inanna, goddess of erotic love and war. In her garden near the Euphrates River, Inanna lovingly tends a willow, or a lilū tree, the wood of which she hopes to fashion into a throne and bed for herself. Inanna's plans are nearly upset, however, when a dastardly trio possesses the tree. Inanna, to her chagrin, found herself unable to realize her hopes, for in the meantime a dragon had set up its nest at the base of the tree. The zoo bird had placed his young in its crown, and in its midst the demoness Lilith had built her house. Wearing heavy armor, brave Gilgamesh kills the dragon, causing the zoo bird to fly to the mountains and the terrified Lilith to flee to the desert. In early incantations against Lilith, she travels on demon wings, a conventional mode of transport for underworld residents. Dating from the 7th or 8th century BCE is a limestone wall plaque discovered at Arslantash, Syria in 1933, which contains an incantation against Lilith. The tablet probably hung in the house of a pregnant woman and served as an amulet against Lilith, who was believed to be lurking at the door and figuratively blocking the light. One translation reads, "O you who fly in the darkened rooms, be off with you this instant, Lilith, thief, breaker of bones." Presumably, if Lilith saw her name written on the plaque, she would fear recognition and quickly depart. The plaque thus offered protection from Lilith's evil intentions toward a mother or child. Over time, people throughout the Near East became increasingly familiar with the myth of Lilith. In the Bible, she is mentioned only once, in Isaiah 34. Throughout the book of Isaiah, the prophet encourages God's people to avoid entanglements with foreigners who worship alien deities. In chapter 34, a sword-wielding Yahweh seeks vengeance on the infidel Edomites, perennial outsiders and foes of the ancient Israelites. According to this powerful apocalyptic poem, Edom will become a chaotic desert land where the soil is infertile and wild animals roam. It reads, "Wildcat shall meet hyenas, goat demons shall greet each other. There, too, the Lilith shall repose and find herself a resting place." The Lilith demon was apparently so well known to Isaiah's audience that no explanation of her identity was necessary. The Isaiah passage lacks specifics in describing Lilith, but it does locate her in desolate places. The Bible verse thus links Lilith directly to the demon of the Gilgamesh epic who flees to the desert. The wilderness traditionally symbolizes mental and physical barrenness. It is a place where creativity and life itself are easily extinguished. Lilith, the feminine opposite of masculine order, is banished from fertile territory and exiled to barren wasteland. While Lilith is not mentioned again in the Bible, she does resurface in the Dead Sea Scrolls found in Qumran. The Qumran sect was captivated with demonology, and Lilith appears in the Song for a Sage, a hymn possibly used in exorcisms. And I, the sage, sound the majesty of his beauty to terrify and confound all the spirits of destroying angels, and the bastard spirits, the demons, Lilith, and those that strike suddenly, to lead astray the spirit of understanding, and to make desolate their heart. Centuries after the Dead Sea Scrolls were written, rabbis completed the Babylonian Talmud, and female demons journeyed into scholarly Jewish inquiries. Talmudic references to Lilith are few, but they provide a glimpse of what intellectuals thought about her. The Talmud's Lilith recalls older Babylonian images, because she has long hair and wings. The Talmud's image of Lilith also reinforces older impressions of her as a succubus, a demon in female form who had sex with sleeping men. One Talmudic reference claims that people should not sleep alone at night, for fear that Lilith slay them. During the 130-year period between the death of Abel and the birth of Seth, the Talmud reports, a distraught Adam separates himself from Eve. During this time, he becomes the father of ghosts and male demons and female or night demons. And those who tried to construct the Tower of Babel are turned into apes, spirits, devils, and night demons, where the female night demon is Lilith. Until the 7th century CE, Lilith was known as a dangerous embodiment of dark feminine powers. In the Middle Ages, however, the alphabet of Ben Sira introduces Lilith as Adam's first wife, before Eve, who boldly leaves Eden because she is treated as man's inferior. 3 angels are sent in search of Lilith. When they find her at the Red Sea, she refuses to return to Eden, claiming that she was created to devour children. Ben Sira's story suggests that Lilith is driven to kill babies in retaliation for Adam's mistreatment and God's insistence on slaying 100 of her offspring daily. To prevent the 3 angels from drowning her in the Red Sea, Lilith swears in the name of God that she will not harm any infant who wears an amulet bearing the angels' names. The next milestone in Lilith's journey lies in the Zohar, which elaborates on the earlier account of Lilith's birth in Eden. The Zohar is the Hebrew title for a fundamental Kabbalistic tome, first compiled in Spain by Moses de Leon in 1250 to 1305. The Zohar, like the earlier treatments of Lilith, sees her as a temptress of innocent men, breeder of evil spirits, and carrier of disease. She wanders about at night time, vexing the sons of men and causing them to defile themselves. The passage goes on to say that she hovers over her unsuspecting victims, inspires their lust, conceives their children, and then infects them with disease. Adam is one of her victims, for he fathers many spirits and demons through the force of the impurity which he had absorbed from Lilith. The Zohar's final innovation concerning the Lilith myth is to partner her with the male personification of evil, named either Samael or Asmodeus. He is associated with Satan, the serpent and the leader of fallen angels. Lilith and Samael form an unholy alliance and embody the dark, negative sphere of the depraved. In one of the many stories of Samael and Lilith, God is concerned that the couple will produce a huge demonic brood and overwhelm the earth with evil. Samael is therefore castrated, and Lilith satisfies her passions by going to other men and causing their nocturnal emissions, which she then uses to become pregnant. Please like, subscribe, and share.